This is going to be another episode of Hot Take Point Made. For this one, obviously, the major is still ongoing. This one, at least we're not doing where like the games start by the time you start watching it. Obviously, there's a few days before the playoffs begin. But we finished the first two stages, now renamed much more simply, and I actually do approve of these names, to just opening stage and elimination stage. Pretty good names all in all. Much better than Legends stage, since we all know the old Legends was the playoffs. So I did think that ruined it and allowed Morons like GL to think they were Legends, whereas... I mean, technically he is Legend now because he's been in two of these playoffs, but we'll get into that. So, obviously, thanks to the performance of G2, you can see that Kassad, actually, the effect on the world is HOOX'i has now become an Orthodox Christian icon, and his like flowing light and grace actually it's even infested where Kassad is now. We can only see him through like a mist of spiritual cloud or something, you know, probably. I mean, to be fair, we get into it. You know what? I actually might do my hot take to start with, boys, because here's my hot take. I'm going to phrase it very carefully. God wants G2 to win this major. I think that's a pretty fucking big hot take, because here's the thing. Literally, HOOX'i's career was right there on the end of the fishing line. He was being lowered down to the piranhas and he was about to be consumed from below. Me and Kassad had our drafts open. We were like, any minute. And then I've told this story to Maui, but I'll tell it to you, Kassad. I was actually on a train during that map coming home in the Netherlands, right? And literally, because I had good internet on the phone and everything, I had like my phone, I was watching it all, it was all like put full, like, you know, 1080p on the phone. And when that round happened, when Jim just dies like that, I actually thought, oh, it's my internet. I must have lagged. Like on the train, it's just lagged. Like, why would he sort of like be in perfect spot behind like new boxes or whatever? Why would he just like teleport into the open and die? Like, this is a really important round. So I even thought myself, like, this isn't even a biggie, it's all good. And I actually can't believe that incident has happened, because it's not that it's never happened in Counter-Strike. I was saying this to Maui. What are the odds it had happened during a round like that, though? Like, guys, this is like if that happened, like, to S1MPLE as he was going to do that 1v2, like, as he was dropping, if he just disconnected from the server or something, like, you wouldn't be able to just go, well, we'll just forget about that and remember going to the game. It'd be in your brain forever. You'd be like, what the hell? What would have happened? What could it have been? So I'll just say it this way. That's obviously the joke hot take. But the other hot take is this. The more serious one is this. I actually think James PC crashing just saved HOOX'i's Counter-Strike career. That is the real hot take. Because I am not joking. If they get 2-0'd like that, boys, as in you're even getting beaten on your map pick to go out of a major, remember, this is the only major with G2 he's made the playoffs, guys. That would have been 3 failed attempts, and one of them was in an RMR. I'm being serious. I actually think that might have gotten him fired. I think you wouldn't have seen him by the Shanghai major be the IGL of G2, because that combined with them bringing in Nexa and then some of the dodgy Blaven Hunter, I think someone would have been on the hot seat. I think someone would have had to go, quite frankly. I don't think you're allowed to just bomb that many. And remember, it's not like it was this Katowice they won. They won the Katowice last year. They won Cologne last year. That was a while ago now. That was in CSGO, guys. That wasn't CS2 even. So I think a lot of people, because, look, G2 did win the third map and they did win that second, blah, 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 and now they're going to be in the playoffs. Who even knows what can happen now? Now, all of history might be different. I'm being serious. I think that crash might have saved HOOX'i's career.
The thing is, like, it's just, that's one of those things. It's just literally the worst timing or anything to happen in the history of esports.
Probably is, yep. Sure.
Like, there was 8 people on the server. 8 people on the server. James could have been anywhere on the bomb site.
True.
Like, if you look at the round, he started in ruins. He missed a shot there, quite an easy shot.
Yep.
He repicked once more and he went back to triple. Right? There's 8 people on the server, 4 Ts, 4 CTs. Not a single grenade for a CT there. I think they had 1 kit and some of the positioning in ruins, and that's all. The Ts had 100 HP in dark, 100 HP on James with op, and 2 people in pool. 1 planting, 1 in pool. So pretty much the perfect setup. And if any of those other players crash, VP wins that round. 100%.
Bro, even the way he crashed, think about this, Kassad. He had the crash where it's like the Alt-Tab one, where it also makes you start moving in the server. He was also hidden. He was in 2 of the best hiding spots you could be in post-plant. And the game, basically, that's why I say it's like the universe wanted HOOX'i to win this game. Because it's like God just reached down like, oh, actually, you're not going to be able to win this, HOOX'i, unless I just nudge James out a little bit. And there you go. Oh, now you've got a chance. Like, what's going on here, bro? What are the chances the bug would make you move into the open to be shot? Like,
listen, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's
but
wild.
There's this thing, right?
Yes.
The thing is, like, they may be saved, right? If they got a kill on somebody with an all 3 players would probably save.
Sure.
Which means
which they say is the call.
in the last round.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah, it would be the call, right? And they would have 3 rifles, which would give them around 40% to win the round. In the very last one, that God knows what would happen in the overtime, right? But the thing is, like that was so unfortunate, and it was like somebody, like you said, somebody looked down on them and said, like, oh, yeah, listen, this guy's not playing anymore, so G2 can actually win this one, right? And overall, I mean, like I said in the thing when I tweeted, like, it's not the players. Like I'm pretty sure that half of them, at least 2 out of 4 of them who were alive, they didn't even know he crashed.
No. I mean, I don't think some of the. I think most of the G2 people had no clue, by the way.
Yeah, they just killed him behind triple, and they continued playing, and then they realized he crashed.
Yes.
When somebody probably wrote something, or they went for a pause or something.
Sure.
So it's not really something, you know, that's up to them. But, you know, I want to remind you of one round in Rio, I think, but I can't really go back all the way because I don't know certain details. There was a round where VP played against Fnatic, and they were 3v3, and then whole Fnatic team crashed. And I think they replayed that round. I don't know if it was like because of the rules, or ESL asked them to replay the whole round, or VP kind of agreed to replay the round. Because the 3v3 bomb was planted on the A side to overpass.
Yes.
They crashed. VP killed them. They defused, and the round was replayed after that. So
Yes.
I don't know what was happening in the communication, but it's an interesting thing to know. But
That's true,
overall,
yes.
like I said, it's just a very lucky hand that was dealt to G2. And I think you might be right. That, you know, he's at least his time in G2 was saved by that crash of PCJ. But it's just a shitty thing for VP, and you know, it is what it is.
And by the way, I'll just throw this out there as well. The other reason I think it's plausible it might have actually saved his career is because if you think HOOXI joined this team after the player break in 2022, most people sign 2-year contracts. I'm guessing his contract probably comes up soon. I imagine it probably ends in like 3-4 months or something. If I had to guess, like usually 2 years is about standard. I would even guess like he's actually in a world where like it doesn't seem. I've pointed out, it doesn't seem like a hot prospect. I even think this might just be the end. They tell him, right, that's the end. What do you think, Maui? What's your take on this? Obviously, it's also an excuse to let people talk about the crash too. I thought we should just get this out the way at the beginning.
Yeah, it's I looked back at it just now, and when James crashed, the bomb had already been planted for 15 seconds. Reminder for everybody, it's a 40-second timer. G2 had no kit, so they had 15 seconds at that point to get the kill, to get the kills in the bomb site, and to get in there. And James died around 17, 18 seconds into the bomb actually being planted already. So they basically, in the span of 10 seconds after that, they got onto the bomb. They actually had no kit. They had no kit. They only had a single H. They had no kit. They had 0 kit. They had 1 HE grenade, and the positions were 2 guys were already around coffins, and 2 people were already in CT. And so even if they said, "Oh, let's just see if we can get a kill and then we'll save," I don't even know if they could have saved. I don't think all of them could have saved. So I'm just gonna say, if they had no money, like the best money on any of the people when that retake started was Hunter had 1,500. Everybody else on G2 had $750 or less dollars. Like they were not going into that next round with a good buy. So that it did save HOOXI. It did save this team, because if they had lost this, they probably would have lost at least 2 guns. If James didn't crash, I assume he would have killed HOOXI first of all, because HOOXI was just wide swung there at CT. And then we had 2 people that were already at coffins. That was Hunter, that was m0NESY. And if it's just Nexa saving a gun to that next round, they're not winning. They're not winning that round. I don't think the chances are that high that they're winning that round. Maybe, you know, like, I'd give the chance G2 even wins that game if that crash doesn't happen, sub 25%. It's just so ridiculously unlikely. And for VP to not, everybody, I mean, Pimp wrote that tweet, like, and James even in the post-game interview did say stuff about the fact that he didn't even mention it. He didn't even really mention it. He did such a good job to show such a stoic face to show that he's a good captain, that he'll move on to the next round, but it clearly affected them. You could see Mirror the very next round just ran through a smoke. And when Fame had that little that little bug jump on Anubis, Mir also just ran into the smoke the next round. He wasn't, even if Jame was a good leader and able to calm himself down, he wasn't able to, that feeling didn't permeate through the whole team because Mir just threw his life away. Both times it felt like his team got screwed over by a bug or a crash. And yeah, they just played worse because of that moment. And even though James such a great captain, obviously storied at that, given that he's won a major, this felt like a complete robbery. And if you want to flip it to the other side with G2, I do find it quite despicable that G2's social media is just joking about it with the NVIDIA stuff now that they're on their side. Like I can understand in like the post-game interviews, people like Monacy, some of them being a little bit unaware because I don't even know if they really knew what happened necessarily. But for the social media of G2 to actually like poke fun at it too, that's the place and time for an apology more than it is to poke fun at the fact that everybody hates you right now, because now you're just there's a difference between like an engagement that's going to get some people to be your fan and an engagement that is 100% hated. That is literally the most like the easiest way to get hated by the community is what the G2 social media partook in. And yet I don't hate the players. I don't hate G2's players, but now as an organization, it does rub me the wrong way, the way that they kind of walked away from this and just kind of like, haha, it's not that big of a deal. Even Taz's reply saying, we had a crash yesterday that was even at a worse time.
I wish you
like,
hadn't said that at all.
I
know.
was like,
bro, they
the
just went out of the tournament, mate. Like, you're still in the tournament. What are you saying? I know.
At a worse time, you still had a life in the tournament and you won that game. Shut up. Like, that's just such a bad take. And I know Taz can be a little bit cheeky sometimes, like when he was on Virtus Pro, but like that was just a bad comment.
He even replied to my tweet. Like I said, like G2 should have NVIDIA as a sponsor. That's just a troll, right? And then he replies with like, yeah, sure, and thumbs up. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
I know.
Shut up, mate.
I really hate how they carry themselves.
Did something like it's just the PC that crashed, and that's all.
Yes.
Kudos to you for the fucking third map. You played well, whatever it is that you did. But regarding that, shut the fuck up. That's that's the bottom line.
Just to start dogpiling Taz a little bit, this guy has a knack for calling a timeout when G2's up 3-0 or 5-0, just calling a timeout, and then it gives the other team a run of momentum. And Yanko and I have just been clowning it so hard. It's like, oh, here's the famous Taz timeout. It's like, he's just trying to put his stamp on some of these games when it's like you are actively hurting them by calling timeouts when your team already has so much momentum. Just stop.
Listen,
just stop calling it then.
I don't care. Like, whatever kind of coach he is, like, that's his job, right? He can be good, he can be the best, he can be the worst. But commenting on this, like, that's just bad, right? Just like accept the fact that you got lucky, accept the fact that you got looked at by the fucking heavens and you got that crash, and just accept it. Playoff, win the major now, lose, I don't give a fuck. But like, let's not pretend they were about to win, because they wouldn't. And that's just it is. Right?
By the way, that's another problem I have, which is, even though if someone loses like a best of 3, like 13-11 both times, I will often make the point like, you could have won the series. I will always point this out until the end of time, guys, which is every single series in history, if you change who wins map 1, the rest of the series probably isn't the same. They don't just play out identically. So I do think a really unfair thing people did do about this as well is they actually act like the fact that VP got giga stomped on Anubis and lost so hard is like, we don't really have to worry about this crash, because it's like, yo, but they still did lose straight up. They lost after a scenario which we all agree is incredibly unfair, where essentially you'd already made potentially the playoffs if it happens, and you go from that state of mind, like we were robbed from it, to then we have to play a whole third map and then they're rolling. Like in that scenario, I don't think that third map plays out identically if you just lose straight up without the crash. Like the problem with that one is you also can never know that. Like I could, by the way, this is like the worst version of what I always used to call as an analyst on the analyst desk. Whenever the underdog loses that close second map after they've won map 1, it is very famous they collapse on map 3. But the difference is they collapse because they're just fundamentally a worse team and they sort of like have to play more CS. I think in this case, you can't say that about VP. I would totally understand if some of the VP players were tilted, or if it was in the back of their head, or if it was hard to sort of forget about it because you have to go straight in the third game. I think it's kind of unfair when people act like, but who cares? He got stumped anyway, you know.
I'll give you the example. Similar thing, but like 10 times less important than VPG2, right? Happened to us in Blast in London when we were playing Dust 2 as 100 Thieves against G2 with Nexa, Manek, Jax, Nico, and I don't know, Kenny, I think. Well, the thing is, like, it's 13-13, that's 2. JKS is in lower, watching flank from long to short. We are on short, about to execute on 13-13, and I think maybe, I don't think they had money, or they were like a half buy or something. Can't remember the exact like buy, but we were in a good spot. 2 people flanking on 13-13, flanking from long, Nex and Jax. And at the point where JKS needs to kill them, he crashes. His PC freezes. They keep walking. Nexa doesn't even see him, but Jax spots him as a secondary flank. They kill him. They flank us 14-13. We are 1.5k. We lose the game 16-13. I talk to the admins. They're like, yeah, the damage has been made, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I accept that. Next map, we were fine. Like, we tried to pick ourselves up. We lost the second map, I think, 16-4. 16-3. It's just the mind at that point is not very... mindset in that situation is very hard to like kind of stabilize, and the concentration is focused because you know you lost the game that you were supposed to win, but something that is that's not your control, that shouldn't be happening on events like this, happened in the worst possible moment to the worst possible player at the server who had the strongest gun, whatever, right? So they were in a prime position to close this one out. It happened. It's nearly impossible, unless you are fucking Kobe Bryant or somebody like that, to kind of go back and reset completely. Like, it's just very hard.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm glad you bring up this example, because some Redditor type comments, Twitter comments would be like, well, they're professionals. Why can't they just ignore it all and be completely, why can't they just reset? Like, it's your job to do that. But it's like, you're not the one that's put in over 10,000 hours into this, wanted to play a fair game, and then at the last hurdle felt like you stumbled because of something that was completely out of your control. And so I feel like people that say that, there's an idealist take there that shows a zero capacity for empathy. I just feel like that's
I see it.
Yeah.
I see it differently. The people who say that have no experience in competitive sport or esports. They don't know what it means to go and fucking practice, fucking playing football at 7 a.m., 8 a.m., sitting on a PC practicing maps 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. So maybe you get a chance to play in these events out of all thousands of teams that are playing. And you get there and you finally make it happen because of your own hard work and skill and fucking time that you invested. And then you got shut down by a fucking PC crash and NVIDIA driver. And then those people come and say, yeah, they're professional. You go and play. You go and fucking practice all these years and have all these stresses and all these things. See how you react if something like that happens. And then come back to Reddit and comment again. That's what I tell to those people.
By the way, I looked it up, and it turns out the reason why it was different, you're right, when Outsiders played Fnatic at IEM Rio, there was a crash, as you say, in like a 3-on-3 scenario. But it turns out the reason why is it's because of the rule book was a different rule applied. What happened, Kassad, apparently was, since in that scenario, the whole 3 Fnatic players disconnected, so there was nobody in the game, that invokes a different rule, which is apparently, the rule normally is like damage has been done, but it also contains a clause when it's a single player that if there's other people in the round who can still determine the outcome of the round, that there's a player alive, like there was in the case of VP, then the round keeps going because they could still themselves win the round is the logic. But since all of Fnatic just disconnected and the round was won, that's why on that one case, apparently ESL replayed it. So it's like, it's just a good example.
I covered myself because I didn't know what was the actual...
No, here's the reason why I bring it up, Kassad. The reason I think it's worth bringing up is because that was one thing that was mildly frustrating about this crash, is that 99% of fans in the first hour just kept saying, just replay the round, he crashed. And it's like, guys, the reason no pro players said that is because the rule the whole time in CS has been, once damage is done, you can't restart the round. That's why this has happened many, many, many times to pros. It's just, it normally doesn't happen in such a ridiculous scenario, obviously, but it's less of an important round. So every pro knows that you couldn't have restarted the round. That was never even an option, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, wouldn't that be like some sort of a bot or something that can restart the round in a specific second?
The problem is, Kassad, I was saying this to Maui before we began, this is actually where we're just unfortunate with the tech of Counter-Strike, because first of all, StarCraft used to have this back in the day, and League of Legends currently does. It's basically a program that does what you're saying. It can recreate the game setting from a certain point. So in this scenario, you'd recreate it to James behind the box, and then you'd press play, and you can start the game. The game can then play out, and they can play the rest of the match. It's called Chrono Break in League of Legends. In StarCraft, you can actually do it from a replay file, believe it or not. But sadly, we don't have that tech in Counter-Strike. Now, I would just say, say that's a pretty cool thing, by the way, guys, where either one, if we had a CSPPA union, there's a brilliant thing you could do, go as a group and say we want this implemented. And two, when people complain about things in CS, personally, I'm not that bothered, by the way, guys, about how the skins look or like stupid shit. I care more about things like this. Like, by the way, if you want to ask Valve for something, ask for this tech. Ask for them to make something where we can sort of like recreate a game state. And so if this happens, we can make it fair instead of, because the problem here is because we can't do that. The only option, guys, was give basically either steal the round from G2 to give it to them, but that's it. Someone has to be given it. In this scenario, all we want is to replay it. If we could replay it, that would be a very interesting scenario. And I feel like it'd be way fairer. And both teams would agree because they'd get themselves another match, you know. Yeah.
The shittiest part is like that now everybody is like hating on G2.
Sure.
Their players, but what the fuck do they do? Like they can't do shit.
Well, no, Kassad, the saddest part about this is I was about, like you, to hate on HOOXI for valid reasons. And I was ready to unleash a festival of hate. I had my version of that. I was watching HOOXI tweet. Spoiler, since I can't do it now, mine was going to end, you know, so take responsibility, G2, and remove this guy and put an elite IGL in there. I was going to go balls deep on it, but sadly now I have to like borderline defend the guy because he's getting hated on for other reasons, not the actual valid ones. It's fucking...
Well, it's whatever.
It is.
The thing is, like, it's done. Now it's done. Now they have to, like, now they have an extra chip on their shoulder, right?
Yes.
Like, there's going to be extra pressure in the quarterfinals against Maus. Okay, we are now in with this kind of fucking circumstances. Like, what if we lose? People are going to shit on us even more. Like, you don't even deserve to be there. VP would win this. VP would win the major like they did in Rio, blah, blah, blah. And if they win, they're still going to be like, you wouldn't even be there if it wasn't for a crash.
Listen, you're saying that...
They cannot win with this one.
You're saying that, Kassad, like you're doing that voice when we all make fun of Redditors, isn't it? No, I'm going to be saying what you just said. If they actually win this major, I am going to, and I am enough of an arsehole, I did this, guys. Even when I was personal friends with people like NBK and Apex, I would tell them to their face when they'd already won that first major, you never really won a major. And they're like, what are you saying? I'm like, look, bro, to win the major, you have to win the best of three. You lost the best of three. I'm sorry, you don't get to win. Because obviously if they lost that one to Fnatic and then won by forfeit, I used to say, you're the only team in history that won a major with fucking 2 best of threes, you idiot. What are you talking about? Now, look, I was doing it half banter, but put it this way, the other half was hitting. It was doing damage. I could see the look on their face. They were questioning themselves. I'm going to do the same thing here. Low key, part of me, true Joker, let the world burn style, wants G2 to win the major now, just so I can go, you know what, HOOXI? That major doesn't count, even though that would be so fucking hard. I'd still do it. I don't give a fuck. Here's the problem he doesn't know is Kassad. Before that, Maui was a little bit more on his side when we did that episode. So I was sort of in the middle. Like, I was sort of like, look, if they keep winning, I'll accept it. I don't think he's actually that good. But the second he dared do that fucking ape meme of like the side eye to you, he just signed his own banter death warrant. The second he did that, Kassad, I was waiting. It was like, look, listen, HOOXI, if you don't know anything about me, I'll wait years to get a tweet fucking dunk on someone. There's even a thing Cuban said. He said that in their team in Apex. They were even saying, like, does this guy just have like a fucking like dossier of all like things people have said and like the date? He's just waiting for I am HOOXI. So it's going to come. It didn't come now. You got a stay of execution. The warden ran in just as I was about to throw the fucking electric chair switch and went, no, he's cleared. He can go back to prison. But here's the thing. You're still on death row, mate. And eventually that chair... I'm going to pull that switch. It's going to happen eventually. It's going to happen eventually.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. We'll see. Like,
what's the next hot take? Who's got a hot take?
I'll do next one.
Let's do it.
The thing is, like, it's regarding C9. It's a little bit milder than yours, but the thing is, like, definitely, no matter what happens with C9 on this major, no matter if they win it, they should sign an op.
I like that. I do appreciate that. What made that hot take is right. That's actually not a hot take at all because I'm like, Cloud9 should sign it off. But to be fair, saying even if they win the major, they should.
Exactly.
So 1 second after they win the major, Kassad's like, right, congrats to all 5 players. Here is the player I would now remove from this line. Like, okay,
exactly.
That's a bit harsh, but all right.
You know what's going to be like the interesting thing? If they win a major, whatever, right? It's going to be like, oh, yeah, we are good like this. This was a perfect
sure, of course.
plan.
Yeah.
Right? Meanwhile, you have Bonesy sitting, wanting to join, just waiting for the buyout to be paid off or whatever the situation is there. Sitting being also the best hopper in this game, period. Wanting to join the team, they'll be like, no, we don't need an offer. We can do it like this. They're going to bomb out for the next 7 tournaments, and they're going to start the discussion of an offer once again. Meanwhile, Molesty is going to resign. they're not going to get whoever they want, and then it's going to be a problem. Wonderful is going to stay in NAVI. It's not going to be like he's not going to stay there. So what the fuck do they do then? So my idea, my hot take is like, go win the major and sign an op after.
If they win the major, I feel like, okay, if they actually win the major, they're not going to change anything. That's probably one of the most disappointing things. I get what you're saying that they should, but if they actually win the major, it's going to actually make some people think about what Cloud9 have accomplished and just kind of think about how so many teams right now are copying Spirit in terms of strategy, rotations, the way they play certain bomb sites, reactions. Some people will probably justify to themselves the idea that we don't actually need a great opper. It might usher in a faulty logic but new meta of CS, but I feel like if you have the capability to win tier 1 events, you don't break it up like just like that if you're Cloud9, because if that were to happen, it would remind me a lot of G2 last year, winning Cologne, winning Katowice, but in actuality, we knew that those were because of great individuals more so than great teamwork, great strategizing. And so if Cloud9 put it all together for this major, well, that's proof of concept of what they've been talking about for the last 3-4 months, where they said, we're not looking for an opera, we're not looking for changes, we're trying to make the most out of it. And I do think you're creating a very bad win condition for yourselves, that you essentially have to play with incredible teamwork, incredible strategizing. Your rifles have to be in tip-top form because, oh my God, watching Perfecto op on Ancient is the saddest thing I could possibly imagine. I didn't think I could find a way to hate Perfecto, but I do hate when he ops on Ancient. It is despicably bad. So if they're able to, and even Boomich at the beginning of this event saying that he doesn't want, he knew he couldn't take the burden of opping and do it on every map, because they actually told us that, I think at Katowice, that they were like, we're going to actually, after Kato, they started moving Boomich, I think, for the RMR to just be the all-time opper, and then they moved back at this event. They said, he just said, I can't do it. And the game needs it. You need an opper on your team for continuous success. And so winning now and then, this would be the fluke run for Cloud9, where we have all of us said it just feels like a waste of time, because everybody in the space isn't just we're not just trying to go for fluke wins. We're trying to see sustained success. So yeah, I have to agree that you should. And if it's anybody today, I think actually what's crazy about this is I would have said Axile needs to be out for an opper, but Axile has been really playing
this
well
one. Yeah, he's carrying it this tournament.
He's owning for Cloud9 right now. So it's really tough. It's actually very tough to say who should be out.
I'll also say as well, the reason that's an extra spicy take is because if you look, first of all, Cloud9 has actually been really good in this major. Like, they are actually like, they don't just, before they used to win, but it'd be 13-11, and then they'd lose 13-11. They're like actually murking people, just dusting them off all over the place. The only clear loss was they lost to Spirit, who's really good, and then they lost one map to Navi, 16-14. Like, aside from that, they're really looking good. So the saddest thing is, I also feel like, this is why I know, like, obviously you're right, they won't change the player if they fucking win the major. But the reason why low-key they sort of should is because if this team actually had an AWPer, holy fuck, we could actually talk about this as the #1 team. Like, the actual Boomich change has almost gone slept on because they lost Shiro, so they don't have the AWP element. The saddest thing of all time is now you just wonder, couldn't we have just had Shiro stay in this team and then Boomich join? Like, wouldn't that be sick? And also, I'll throw this out there. The reason why that would even almost be fairer is because then Spirit would actually be like a lesser team and Donk would just have a normal career path. He wouldn't just get to walk into like all the tournaments and potentially win them all and be like, they got him from day one, because no one else had a team like that in day one. You know what I mean? Like, it'd almost make more sense in the scene. Because the other thing I'll throw out there as well is, there's a fucking world where this team actually does win the major. Like, if you look at it, like, their first round matchup, guys, is the Vitality with Il Ziwu, who is scuffed at the moment and doesn't even all time. If anything, you've got like the best possible chance to get to the semis. Then if like FaZe was taken out, all of a sudden you could, these are teams you can beat. Like, broky's not like a god AWP who's going to dominate the thing. So like, it's not even like it's impossible to win the major. The problem is though, we still come back to that original thing of like, yeah, but it's just such an obvious upgrade. Like, if you take any good above average AWPer and put it in this team, you could really talk about this being the #1 team. Like, the rest of the team looks good. Yeah, I'm with you.
I wouldn't call them the wouldn't call them the #1 team, but with honesty, yes, #1. With above average, no. I think it's like, honesty is such a difference maker. If I'm G2 right now, I don't know when his contract ends or anything, but I would be using all my money right now that I have hidden under the pillow, all my shit that I can get, and offer him a new contract that's going to last till 2028. You know, just blank check here, because honestly, he's not going anywhere for the next 8-9 years as an opera. The kid is just unbelievable. He is the best CS2 player, in my opinion, right now, overall. Get a bit, maybe, I guess, ZywOo, but ZywOo is like, right now, is not looking the best, but still one of the best. But I would put my money on m0NESY, and I think G2 should re-sign him. If not, Cloud9 should also use all of their money just to pay to get him, because it's going to be absolutely worth it.
If people remember, obviously m0NESY joined at the beginning of 2022. I'm going to guess in his case, considering how much they bought him for, I would imagine he probably had the 3-year contract. So he's probably got the rest of this year, would be my guess for that one. So actually, I mean, the timing's definitely there. Like, it's certainly going to be, as the contract counts down, it'll be more cheap. It'll be cheaper potentially to buy him out, sure. Right, next take. Maui take now.
Yeah. Okay, I've got a few. Okay, I'll start with this one. So NAVI, looking at them right now, I see a team that, sure, they can win their first round matchup versus Eternal Fire, but I wouldn't pin them as the favorites to beat either Maus or G2, and I definitely wouldn't have them as favorites to win the major by any means, any stretch of the imagination. And I will say that they've got a player that's obviously benched, and I will say that if s1mple came in for EMA, NAVI could win this major. It's not going to happen. We're not going to see s1mple just jumping into this team or anything like that out of nowhere. But if they actually subbed in s1mple for EMA today, they would have a great chance to win this major, because EMA has been horribly bad for this team. He has been such a detriment to everything that they are doing. On T side, he still looks lost. And the thing is that I think people were like, okay, cool, s1mple's off the roster. That's less toxicity, so EMA can focus on his game anymore. When it hasn't fixed anything for EMA. He had a little burst in performance as soon as s1mple left. Maybe it gave him more space. Maybe he felt a little bit more comfortable, but he's regressed back to the fraudulent EMA that he was as soon as he joined this NAVI. 0.82 rating at this event, by far the worst of any rifler on this team, and yet this team, NAVI, is still beating opponents. They took a map off of Spirit. They took a map off of C9. They were able to take down G2, and they have no chance in my eyes to win this major with EMA. That's so crazy. And the thing is that even in these losing performances to C9, to Spirit, they still were able to find the maps, and EMA was just posting up the worst numbers possible. And the thing is that I actually believe that today s1mple would just be better than him, even without getting accustomed to the team whatsoever. He's played with Alexi before. He's played now with Blade as well. He understands the strategy, and when I watch this NAVI team play, their tactics are incredible. They are so good at outmaneuvering opponents, using misdirection to find timings, and those are practically the kills that EMA can get. But you put this guy in any 50-50 duel, even 60-40 advantage duel, he's losing to everybody. He's losing to everybody under the sun, and the only, like, his rating is only where it is because he was able to play well against Pain. If he didn't play Pain Gaming, he would be in the dumps. He's already one of the lowest rated players on this team, and he would be just awful if he never got to farm Pain a little bit. So I feel like it's not going to happen, but if s1mple and NAVI wanted a real chance to win this major, they should just substitute s1mple in today.
Okay, it's definitely a hot take. Come on, kassad.
It's a fucking hot take and a half. I'll give you that one. The thing is, like, why I wouldn't do it is simply because that's too much of a risk. Like, we saw s1mple perform on that Falcons game, and it was substandard even for a good player, and he's a superstar player. Also, a question for you, Maui, what type of player do you think EMA is? In what kind of role do you see him being? Good or bad or whatever? Like, what do you think he plays in NAVI?
So he has some lurk responsibilities at times, and they tried putting him as like a couple pivotal rifle positions as well. And it's like these are active enough spots. So like A overpass rifler, for example, they tried to give him that spot back, and they took Bit away from that spot where he was obviously very good for NAVI. Now they put Bit as the anchor for B overpass, and if they just put Bit back, if they put I would say leave Bit as the B overpass CT rifler, for example, but I would probably I don't know if I would want to put Simple as the A rifler alongside Wonderful, for example, on a map like that. But I feel like if you're putting Ema in these rotator type positions, or just kind of like, it's just that Simple's game sense is way better. His ability to win duels is a lot better. And even if he has to, even if Simple has to play kind of like just hold things together, lurk spots, he's gonna, it's like sometimes Ema just gets caught out lurking, say, B long on Anubis, and it's just like, brother, this is what you need to be doing for this team on all accounts. You can't be getting caught out with like flash peaks and stuff like that. You need to just play safe, play smart, and maybe I would want Simple a little bit more in the action, but even one for one, roll for roll.
It would change
I would
a
still
lot
prefer
of that.
Simple.
Like, the thing is, like, with putting Simple in, let's say they do that, that's a must-win major for them, because if they don't win it, what have they done? They created a massive problem inside the team, like a big fucking problem. So there's going to be a problem between the players to themselves, between the players and the organization, between the players and Simple, between everybody. That's just going to work only if they actually win it. But they have so many teams to beat to actually win it. So it's just not going to be, possible. So I wouldn't do that. I will maybe do it after the major. You roll this one out, see how it happens. Because the first opponent is Eternal Fire, yes?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
And they're going to beat them most likely, because you're going to see these new players coming on the stage. It's going to be different for them. I don't think they get past NAVI there, because NAVI has too much experience in these situations, especially Alexi. Even the JL played the playoffs of the last major as well. On the semis, let's assume Maus beat G2 first. Then we have Maus, who is not going to be, that Maus plays differently on big stages rather than the group stage. Like, that's a different team, at least for now. They can be better. They will be better probably. But for now, it's not the same team in the group stage, in the studio environment, and in the Drain Arena in front of 10,000 people, right? The third thing, if G2 beats Maus in the quarterfinals, they already beat G2 here. And they were playing G2's best map, or the second best map on Nuke. And they beat them. So in that scenario, I think NAVI wins there too. So NAVI is in a really decent spot right now, in my opinion, to be in the finals. Now, the problem is obviously the other side of the bracket, Spirit FaZe. Right, I don't think they can get through Spirit, because we saw how it felt the first time. They did win a map, but it was like, for me, it was one-sided FaZe. Maybe they can win it, but overall, I think the Spirit is going to be in the final, no matter what. So I wouldn't do that, simply because it's too much of a risk. Right now, you have a good thing going. So what if you don't win it? Just keep playing, and you keep getting better and better. But yeah, I do agree on him. Maybe he needs to be upgraded. Maybe he needs to be substituted. Yeah. He is playing substandard for a team like NAVI and the goals they have. But right now, in the middle of the major, absolutely fucking not.
Obviously, the reason it's a good hot take is it would be such an insane thing to do, regardless of whether it could work or not. And also, I do think of all the coaches, I think Blade is about the least likely coach to ever do a move like that. Because his whole thing is like, just learn my system and do what I've planned. Like, in fact, I think he even goes the other way, as I've pointed out many times. He's the guy where he really, sometimes I think he keeps players too long and keeps thinking, but if I just keep explaining to him, then he'll learn the point. It's like, and sometimes he doesn't realize some of these guys, like, they're not going to get it, mate. They're not going to be able to operate on the level you want, Blade. So I don't think there's not even a 1% logistical chance this could happen. But I get Maui's take, because I actually do think also, I think it's plausible they can make the final. I don't think they can win the final. Like, the premise goes, they're going to have to play like probably Spirit or FaZe. Best case scenario, they play Cloud9. And by the way, Cloud9's even better than them and dusted them off in that last stage. Like, they can't beat any of those teams on the other side of the bracket. There's no way. It's just not happening, especially Spirit, by the way. Even though they've won 2 maps off Spirit, they both were like by a cunt's hair. Like there's nothing in it. And meanwhile, they get plowed on all the other maps. And by the way, the one in Katowice, I'll always point this out, where it's the one map that Spirit lost. Fucking Wonderful had to win like a 1v5, guys, to win that map. Like, you can't expect this. So, but I will say this, though. I think the discussion of Simple coming back is more interesting, because here's the cool thing. I'll tell you what, if they do make it like to the semis or the final, it also becomes way more attractive if you're Simple to join this team as a rifler. Like, here's the thing. I might not want to rejoin NAVI if I'm rejoining a team that, like, for example, say they'd lost that last match and they didn't make it to the playoffs. Maybe I don't want to rejoin if it's sort of like a not that much better version of the NAVI I left. Like, we were good, but we were going to come semis at best. If I'm rejoining a team where basically me joining, I'm Simple, and I don't even have to be the old Simple, I can just be like a strong rifler who does like a 1.12 rating. Maybe I should join this team. Maybe we actually can just win immediately. And the wonderful guy's open really well. Alexei's called, like, actually, it could become a very attractive deal for Simple. Because actually, I do think, by the way, on the Imma topic, I'll say this. I don't think he's as terrible as people make out, like, over the whole time. As in, if you look at the first 3 to 4 months of this NAVI lineup, almost all the players had issues in the team. Even Simple did, actually, back then. It was basically only Alexei B sort of played all right, and he was obviously busy trying to IGL. Everyone else was up and down. Bit was kind of a bit whack initially. Then JL was, like, trying to find his spot. The difference is, though, and this is the killer if you're Imma, Imma's the only one left who has issues, in my opinion. And with Maui, I actually think this team's playing really solid, coherent CS, and everyone else, to some degree, has their role. Like, actually, Bits, not as bad as you remember. He has some pretty solid games now. Fucking Wonderful is really good. Actually, JL, even though he's not supposed to be the guy who does, has pop off maps. We've all seen it. So actually, I do feel like if you put Simple for Imma, I do think, like, immediately, even if Simple's not old Simple, I think they would actually be a very strong team. And the problem for Imma, I agree, is that it's not like he can't frag. People have seen some highlights. It's the difference is when you watched him in that Gamer Legion run, the thing that impressed me, I always said, was never aim. I never thought he had bonkers aim. It's that he looked so poised. Do you know what I mean? Like, his actual, like, it's the opposite to what it is now, Maui. He actually looked before like he did know where he was meant to be on the map, and he felt confident in his moves. And when he took this duel, like, he knew he would win that duel, and he'd win with his AK, and then he'd take the next fight. And that's why I said he was giving me vibes in that major run of, like, Nico or something. Like, he looked really polished almost. I remember thinking, like, where the fuck is this guy? Has this guy just been in tier 2? And I wasn't watching the whole time. And it turns out, no, that was just a one-off, or it was just that Game Allegiance system he liked. It's never been the same with Alexei ever. And I actually think the worst thing isn't the fragging of the stats. It's what you said there. It's that he actually looks lost at times. Like, he really looks like he's not sure what he's supposed to do next. And he's, like, second guessing, like, even what his teammates are going to do sometimes. That's really disturbing because this is, guys, he's been in this team for what, like 8 months now or something, or 5-6 months or so. It's a decent chunk of change. Like, it's not like it is 2 months in. So, and also, by the way, I'll just throw this out there. The Blast Paris Major was in CSGO as well. Like, this is CS2. So, quite frankly, here's the reason why I would make that change tomorrow, even if Simple isn't back to his best yet. Because the reason you keep giving him in your brain a pass is because you're remembering the one from Game Legion. Guys, that was actually about, like, 9-10 months ago now, that fucking tournament run. Like, realistically, if I wiped your memory, Men in Black style, and only showed you this guy in CS2, you wouldn't sign the paper to have him play for NAVI. By the way, it's not like he has to leave the pro scene. It's just that he needs to now go to a team that's appropriate for him. By the way, maybe even a team where he can develop. Like, the obvious teams he should be on is OG. By the way, go back to Gamer Legion. They're not a terrible team. How about Apex? These are the sort, maybe Fnatic if they're going to make it. These are the sorts of teams Imma should probably play for. I also do think, by the way, the last component is, I also think the pressure of playing for NAVI, he hasn't lived up to it. He hasn't been able to for whatever reason. So, to me, I actually think it's in both parties' interest at this point in time to just move on. That way also, if you're Imma, the last thing you want to do as well, by the way, is be the team that can come third or fourth and almost win, and then you're just the one that gets blamed every time. That's going to fucking get old real soon as well, 3 months down the line. Like, no one's going to blame the others, guys. They're just going to, like, every narrative for every other player is going to be, and they'd be winning if it wasn't for the Imma guy. Alexei beat, maybe you'd have won if it was for the Imma. And if they had, and also, the last thing to say is this, that pressure is never going to go away unless Simple signs with another team. Because even though we've seen him play one game, in our brain, he's the GOAT. So, of course, like, if, like, guys, you can't have a team where it's like you're struggling and at any moment, if he chooses to, the best player ever can just come in and take your spot. Like, that's going to destroy your mental. You're going to have so much pressure. I think it's just obvious, yeah. So I'm with you. I actually do think it's their only chance to win. The difference is if they came in and Simple did some crazy map, you could maybe win. There's no chance otherwise. You can make the final still, but final is not winning. Final is not winning. Okay. What are we doing now? What's the next take?
You want to do it?
In the chamber, but you should go. You should go.
I have one too.
Oh, I've got a good one for you. You know what? I'll do this. I actually think this. Here's the problem. You guys judge if it's a hot take or not, because sadly, I actually do think, I saw Yanko did something similar, but I'm going to say the same thing. I actually do think that people will think it's a hot take now because of how the tournament ended. But I guarantee, bro, if I took this hot take, and I would have said it then, if I told you this hot take after the first Swiss period, everyone would tell me you're whiling, right? You know, there's this perception in Brazilian Counter-Strike that goes, Furia has the best talents, but it's things like IGLing, like they've just got to get to it. No, I'm called Kassad train on Hot Take Point Mid. I would literally fire everyone who isn't called KSCERATO, and maybe yuurih I might keep. That's it though. I'm not keeping anyone else. anyone, I'm bringing in bigger. I'm bringing in everyone else in the scene. And by the way, here's what I'd also do. This is the other hot tip. It's not just fire. I don't even want anymore you to hire at all based on experience. We now need to just hire the best players. We need to get KSCERATO and maybe yuurih, and then we need to put the best. So bigger Zera, if he's the best IGL, he's the best IGL. Whoever the best support is, I'm putting him in. Whoever the best, I'm putting him in. Because right now, I've told you before, I'm so sick of wasting like KSCERATO's actual prime. Like, think about the thing we were talking about with the whole Axel topic the last few months. You can't guarantee you get 5 years of this. It's not like the AWPers. So like, being as he is still really good, why are we wasting time with these other pieces and these other parts that are living off reputation from years earlier? I would for real do a kassad, fire nearly all of them and just bring in the new fucking crowd because I'm just done with this squad. And I also, by the way, as a more serious point, I also low-key think if you did fire those players, some of them you won't see in majors again, or they'll be on a pain gaming. They won't go and have an awesome career elsewhere. Some of them, by the way, I predict Art will just be like the next Imperial fucking player and he'll just be coming 17th at majors. He won't go, it's like he's going to go to FaZe and be fucking awesome, guys. So I also think some of those players are fucking living on the coattails of KSCERATO, pulling them into these spots right now. Come on then.
Okay.
Come on then.
But the thing is, like, all right, I get your point, but you cannot be saying, like, listen, just get the 5 best players and put them in. You need to tell me who the players are. Like, okay, KSCERATO, Big Zera, that's 2. Who?
The Op's a tough one.
Yeah.
I would maybe try Zevi. Try Zevi from Pain. I think he's pretty good.
Who else?
Well, I've got how many? 2 more spots?
You got to get Insani. You got to get
Insani, I think's a
Most
banger.
obvious one.
Every time I've seen the Insani guy in MIBI, he's pretty sick. I think he's a good.
Then you would need a support. You would need a supportive player as well.
That's a tough one because obviously
That's a very tough one.
Well, maybe that's where I bring
Drop
Vinny
has
in,
been
not as
playing
IGL or Drop. Drop's not a bad one too.
Yeah, the thing is, like, Drop had a funny tweet today, especially after that news that Zera
What was it?
was out of legacy. He was like kind of laughing, like KKKK, whatever the thing is. So maybe he's out of MIBR and Zera is back. I don't know. That's how it sounded to me on Twitter, but you never know. But the thing is, like, yeah, if you put it that way, okay, Zevi, maybe he's a better offer than what they have right now, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. And I would agree with you. Just imagine that. I think that
Must be a hot take then. Okay, right.
There's some point to that, but the question mark is the final.
I love the way he actually, for real, Maui, with no sense of irony, because that's what I love about kassad. He's like an animal. He just instinctively responds to it. There's no guiles, no subterfuge. He actually unironically said about my fucking ridiculous take of fire everyone. He goes, I actually agree. It's like, yeah, no shit. That's your whole style is to say fire everyone.
Yeah.
No, the thing is, the problem there is the financial one.
True,
like,
true.
They cannot, that Brazilians and their buyouts, somehow they have clauses with like $14 million.
Yes.
Has a salary of 300 apples.
Yes.
And stuff. So it's just very, very fucking difficult to get.
All right, you know what, Kassad? Here's another hot take. I'll give you an even hotter take. Here's the only way anyone can save Brazilian Counter-Strike at this point in time. There is one method. This is a joke. I would not recommend any of this. Any legal defense listening would tell you the following is a one-man play from a character like Thorin, Duncan Shields, but not actually him, playing and saying things Duncan Shields would never say. Because the only way you can save Brazilian Counter-Strike at this point in time is you must actually get compromising photographs of all of the team owners, and then you must blackmail them. I don't actually say that. That's what in the play, the man who I'm pretending to be the character of would say, because at this point, you can't buy them with money. You can't get them to join if they want to. You can't even at this point, I think, wait till the contract ends, seemingly. At this point, you must actually go to some sort of Machiavellian House of Cards level shit. Otherwise, we're never getting these guys off the teams at this point in time. So all I'm going to say is I need the following. I need like a fucking duct tape. I need a series of hotel rooms, and I need a stable of donkeys. And you fill in the blanks.
Duncan, you know who can actually do this, and who can make not your plan, but
okay.
who can put
Thank God that he actually. I thought he was going to like volunteer someone in the scene who should do my plan. Like, fucking hell, okay, but who can actually do it for real though? Who can do it for real though? Come on,
Fallen.
Who?
He can do it.
Fallen.
Okay. He can do it. Like, he stops playing. He gets his org, takes it, like whatever they're called, gets the sponsors, he gets tons of fucking followers, army of fans, he can attract the sponsors, he can do whatever the fuck he wants, get this team together, run it as a fucking coach or a GM or a CEO, whoever the fuck. You will be on the major. You will make millions still. You will have a Brazilian team that's fucking stable, and then you can even guide them to be champions because you were a champion once before, multiple times before. So that's the recipe how they do it without the nudes and the donkeys and whatever you wanted to do. But the thing is, like, this is the man who can do it, and he should do it. He's listening to this. Do it.
By the way, I'll just throw this out there. Any fan out there who ever tries to dunk on me for mentioning MSL, I'm just going to put this out there. You do know MSL won DreamHack Masters Stockholm in like the latter part of 2018. That's a way more recent championship than anything Fallen's won. What are you guys talking about? Like if you think MSL is washed, I've got some bad news for you about your boy Fallen. Give me a fucking break. All you need to know is this. I'll just say it again for the millionth time. The reason I can tell you Fallen is fucking whack at Counter-Strike is because you all hold a ticker tape parade on Twitter anytime he has one good map. You don't even need the whole series to finish, guys. You have a ticker tape parade for one good map. The joke is, like, I've said it in the past ones, if Duncan or Ziwu have a 1.2 rating, we all question if they have dropped off and are washed. Like, a 1.2 rating would be like fucking... That would be like heaven for Fallen at this point in time. What are you talking about, guys? Like, what's your take on this, Maui? Come on.
Well, I mean, I feel like with building the best Brazilian team, I think the easy kind of way I would pivot out of this to like just center it a little bit is that we had three Brazilian teams at the main part of the major group stage. And if you just had actually, I guess I'll spin it off into another take. If that were just trim the fat, make that two teams, I actually think both of them could have made the playoffs. Like you change Furia a little bit around, you could still have Vinny and Big Uzera on opposite teams, the best player, best oppers. Like Henny would be on, to me right now, the best. I think he's better than Zevi today, actually. It's that he's just kind of like up and down. We've seen so many faults in his character and things like that.
He's got the bad rep and the baggage. Sure.
Yeah, so it's like, but if it's just purely based off of performance and his peak, he is higher than anybody else right now. So I just think like Furia's efforts at the major were so wasted because they're just not a complete team whatsoever. If you take yuurih, if you take KSCERATO, you take him off that team. If you put him with somebody like Vinny or Big Uzera, if you play around some of the people like Decenty and No Way were actually pretty surprising for me too on that Imperial team. Like I said, Vinny was already also a really solid caller. For Pain, I feel like you could work through with a couple of those pieces. Like I saw some okay stuff from Lux. So maybe he would be part of one of these good teams. Nissim also, like, actually Nissim's reads in the mid round were very impressive to me when he was playing against Navi. Like, he was actually a reason that he could outthink some of the strategies from them, but it just wasn't enough because the rest of the team couldn't keep up with what he was doing against Navi. So, like, yeah, there's some really good pieces right now in the Brazilian space that are not on Furia, which is obviously incredibly upsetting because it's like, it's nice when there's just representation from the regions and it's not just split up across the board like this, because it's like, it kind of just gives, like Kenny S. Shocked vibes. Like, when are these guys just going to be on the same team right now? Because Big Uzera is the best in-game leader in Brazil. KSCERATO's the best player in Brazil right now. They're not on the same team. Get them together because we just want to see the best Counter-Strike from that region.
Okay.
All right.
Is there another hot take?
Speaking of...
I got
You
one.
want to do it or should I? Oh, yeah, go for it. Go for it. I'll do the next one.
Okay, I got one that's gonna... This is gonna piss you off, Kassad. I'm already ready for the reaction.
I can't... My camera is like, not showing you my proper facial expressions right now. But
yeah, just we'll hear it. We'll hear it. Just
maybe
hear me out.
My tone will represent.
Yeah, just hear me out, and we'll get the reaction at the end, okay? Because I got some numbers here for this. Okay, so if I were building a team today, and somebody put in front of me, here's one of your oppers, it has to be one of these two, and the options are torzsi or broky, I would take torzsi in a heartbeat. Torzsi is young. First of all, torzsi is younger. So hear me out, Kassad. Hear me out before you react on that. torzsi is younger. He's 21 versus broky is 23. He has fixed so many of the issues via the eye test that pissed me off about torzsi. He used to die way too much because when he moved from tier 2 to tier 1, he had the biggest problem. It was people like Woxic, people like Poison would do this stuff where they would just peek out just needlessly. So many needless re-peeks also, but torzsi has fixed many of these issues. He's still good for a repeat here and there, but broky is way worse. Broky does all these stupid plays all the time that cost FaZe, the setups that they're in. He's sometimes the first domino to fall when they're in a man advantage because he goes for a needless peek, and torzsi doesn't do them nearly as much. On top of that, torzsi is a better team player than broky. In terms of his rating, or in terms of his flash stats, he is throwing more flash assists on less flashes thrown than broky over the last 6 months. He blinds opponents for more time per round than broky does. So he's throwing much better flashes on both CT side and T side. And on top of that, torzsi in the last 6 months has better ratings versus top 5 and top teams now than broky does. So I would be taking torzsi over broky if you said you got to take one for your team.
Can I react now?
Yeah, go for it.
Yes.
Like it.
Fucking hell, why is he just liking shit now? Why is he just liking it?
I like it. No, I like it because listen, I liked torzsi back in the academy days. I think he was Monastery level upper.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to him in the time when Dexter was there and the shit was happening.
Sure.
You know, the drama. Dexter doesn't use ops and whatever. Like, you know, in Fnatic and stuff. But the thing is, like, I think he was extremely skilled and extremely talented. He made a lot of mistakes, yeah. But right now, if you compare those two operas, I think torzsi is definitely the better shape than broky, because you are looking at FaZe, and broky before was a guy that you notice on the server. Like, you notice him when you play against him, you notice him when you watch him. He is very, you know, disruptive for your team if you're playing against him, right? And the frags that he puts out in CSGO, it was very, very much felt on the server. You have to like go around it. You have to make some sort of gimmicks. Your normal defaults don't work because he has an opening moves against that. It's so hard to play against him. But right now there is nothing. None of that. Like, I don't see him on the server. It's mostly ropes and it's frozen, right? And that's it. Sometimes Rain pops up and the other two are just not there. Obviously, Carrigan is doing his role, but broky isn't. You know, and I don't see. I was going to add to your hot take, but and saying with my own that broky is not going to make it past the next roster shuffle. You know, and he's not going to stay in FaZe. But I just add to that one. But definitely, I would agree that torzsi is right now in a much better spot. That how much younger he is? Like a couple of years, I guess. He's like 24.
He's 2 years. He's 2 years younger. It's 21 to 23.
Yeah, 21 to 23. So broky is still young, and he's still in before his prime years. But I think the CS2 is much different for him, and he got nerfed together with the op, while torzsi, you know, overcame that opping problems for now, and he's making less mistakes, like I said. So maybe, I don't know, that's the opposite, but I do agree with you on this one.
The problem I have with this take, it goes like this. If you just mean as like a pure AWPer, obviously torzsi is the traditional style of AWPer, whereas broky really does do the JW like mobile shotgun shit some of the time, and obviously the way he plays his spots isn't always like a traditional sniper. So I will say it is easier to put that into a team. Like, much that's why I always give the analogy of JW. You also need to sort of balance your team out with different sorts of players. Like, in my opinion, I've always said this, I actually think what makes FaZe work actually is like the fact that broky and Rops can be on different ends of the equation at certain times, and the fact that they have so many clutch players, they've also the cores played together for so long. So some of these things probably do make broky's like level a little bit boosted. My issue obviously is this, is you are saying that though about players that are on a different level of experience though. As in, if you're going up to the quarterfinals of a tournament, maybe torzsi's better. The difference is though, I have no fucking clue what happens if you drop torzsi in a major final bit. Whereas the difference is, I saw broky, he was the MVP of that kind of heats in 2022. He was a monster. You remember how fucking insane he was? He was like dominating every game. Like, I've seen this guy in the biggest tournaments do the massive single performances. Also, I do think like that ballsy playmaking aspect, which is why I always give the JW comparison. There's no player has that right now in Counter-Strike. There's just this guy. Like, this guy is like, all the other AWPers do play way safer, or their idea of aggression is you just re-peak. This guy like has the sort of like he has that mind where they can sort of like see an angle of like an opening or a timing. They can go for something. And by the way, lastly, he's also mega clutch. Remember that? Like, he's one fucking ton of clutches. This is another guy that added that element to FaZe. So personally, I wouldn't do that move right now. I could see in the future that might be it. Maybe in 6 months, maybe in a year. Maybe Maus goes deep in this tournament and torzsi gets to show me. But if that, like, because obviously there's a world they can go to the final too. I actually think low key anyone in that bottom half of the bracket's right there. Everyone should be loving that bracket draw. The top half's the killer one. So there's a world where torzsi could be better. Right now, I'd probably still take broky though. I'd probably still side with him, even though I don't think he's actually a traditional AWPer. It's all good.
All right, I'll do this one before we wrap it up. The thing is, like, right now we are all talking about the game, and I don't think we did a hot take about the game itself for a while now. I think that the game is in a shit state as it is. It's not, fully, not even close to what it needs to be for us to be like having like, memorable matches and best of threes and best of fives. Simply because we saw that fucking game crashed at 11-11 in the fucking So. Some fixes for the game for me. First of all, MR12 is a garbage thing. Simply because you lose the pistol, you lose the first gun round, and already you lost 25% of the game. So I don't think that should be a thing ever. It should be fixed immediately. If you don't want to fix the max round, you need to do something with the economy. First of all, I don't think anybody should get the bonus 1.4 ever again. I think that should be removed from the game. You should always start from 1.9. You should never, ever start with 1.4 because the team that loses the first round of the game gets 1.9, and then the other team who won the first round and loses their first round, they get 1.4, which makes absolutely no fucking sense and they have no logic whatsoever. The second thing that I would change is the incendiary price for the CTs. I would lower it.
Make it the same as the T1, sure.
Or 400 or 500. That would improve the CT sides a lot. And that would, then obviously, I would decrease the price for diffuse kit to 300 instead of 400 because like it's so shit right now. Simply because like you have these Zeus kills, for example, you win the pistol round and you buy guns that the opposites they just buy Zeus, get to some stupid angle that you cannot clear because obviously you don't have 25 flashes, you can have a maximum of 10. Most of the teams are in the second house have 6-7 flashes. Nobody has 10, so you cannot clear all. So there is a big chance you can get Zeus or traded with the USP or a P250 of somebody who killed the guy in the previous round, and then all of your money that you invested in the gun, armor, grenades goes to shit. It's $200. And then obviously you lose that round, you have 1.4, they have the additional money in your guns. It's just not an optimal way to play Counter-Strike right now. My hot take is definitely to change the economy, like I said it, and change the pricing of certain things in the game, and that will improve the competitive environment completely. And it will change the game and people will love it. You don't have to change the MR12 at all.
Okay.
I've thought about this a little bit. Obviously, I feel like it would be up to somebody to run all the numbers. I feel like I actually totally agree with the incendiary price reduction from 600 to 400, the diffuse kit down to 300. For one, if we have cheaper diffuse kits and we just get maybe 1 or 2 more of those per game, we might see more retakes. It's going to be a better game overall, going to be more action. And another thing is that I would actually increase the Galil price. I feel like it's really unfair right now when T's get a bomb plant in the first round, they get the extra 800 per player, and then you see they have 4 Galils, 1 guy with a Tech 9, and yet they still have somehow money for a couple smokes and a couple flashes, and it's like, choose one or the other. If they're able to have a Galil and armor on the second round after a bomb plant, they shouldn't be able to have any nades to do anything, so you should be sacrificing utility for firepower. If you want to choose one or the other, because I still think T's would force in that second round because breaking the economy is so powerful, but you shouldn't be able to run any semblance of tactics. And I'm okay with that because I'm okay with a team just trying to use full firepower to just bust into a bomb site, but don't give them any kind of utility advantage too, because it's already hard enough if a CT is defending that bomb site with a more expensive molly. The retaking is going to be hard because it's $400 for diffuse kit, and then they're getting assaulted by 4 Galils, 1 guy in the back just chucking flashbangs for them, and then even some of those guys running in the front having smokes to counter the mollies that were so expensive for the CTs to even buy. Like, that just feels so BS to me. So it just feels way too unfair.
Let's add to that, because like you win the CT pistol, you have 3.3, right? 3.4, and plus whatever you killed. Yeah, most times people don't kill just the 1 guy with 2 kills, 3 kills with a defuse. I don't care. But the thing is, like, you have 3.3, 3.4. You use 1K to buy armor because you need big armor, you need helmet because they have Galils and Mag 10s and Tech 9s, and you use 900 of the K to buy the smoke and incendiary. So that's 2,000 out of your 3.3, 3.4. So what the fuck do you buy for the first gun that you fought so massively to win? Meanwhile, you have T's who are buying Galils, Mag 10s, tech nines, armors, grenades, and they can also group up on one spot with 5 people. How the fuck do you defend this? No, that's why we see so many like force by one right now. And the MR12 just doesn't help with that. Change the thing with the economy, and you will make the game more interesting.
Sure. By the way, I do think also, like, the reason those are interesting fixes is because it doesn't require the total economy rehaul. It just takes some of the, like, a little bit of the pain out of it. It polishes off a few of the rough edges. So I actually do like that as a move. I especially think, by the way, actually, low-key, an underrated one is the Molotov one, where I have always thought it was mental how much more the CT version of it is. Because one thing people don't get is this is where, sadly, you'll always get drawn into worthless discussions if it's about fixing CT, because then people start saying stupid shit like, but the map is balanced, because they think every map should be 8, 7.5 for both fucking teams, which is like, that's not my concept of balance. And then also, people go, but isn't CT strong enough? Right, CT spawns on the map and has the bomb sites at the beginning of the game. Like, they are supposed to have a natural advantage. But in this scenario, like, I actually do think, like, CS2 early on anyway favoured T's too much. And the economy just absolutely, like I say, it's only for a very certain setting, but when it happens, it ruins the game, in my opinion. Like, you're not watching CS anymore, you're watching a thing where it's like, oh, they won the round, so they outplayed them, but they didn't get enough people alive. Or they won the round, but he can't get to the orb, so then that guy has a fucking farmhouse next round. Like, that ruined CS for me. You know what I mean? Like, if you think of how old CS was, if you win the round, most cases, yeah, you've got guns now. You just won the round. You get rewarded for that. We're playing some other weird game. And the worst thing, I made this point when I made my video 4 years about this topic, 4 years ago, which was, even if I've identified in a video this meta that you've got to keep 3 alive, because everyone's been trained that that's not how you play CS, pros aren't going to play that way. Pros aren't going to realise it's like a war of attrition, and CT's actually about monitoring the economy, and it's not about whether we win the round or not. Like, in fact, I even think it's only T's that ever abused that. Like, I actually have seen some TIGLs who are smart enough to know when you have the other person fucked with the money like that, sometimes you don't even save on T, you just do the war of attrition and get some more guns out of them. And if each time they keep losing 2 guns, they can never get out of that price hole. They're just stuck in the money pit, and no amount of wins can get you there. And also, think about the other angle that makes this a semi-bullshit thing, is that at the moment in Counter-Strike, as a player yourself, you think of a planted bomb as like, yeah, they get some money for it, but you can just defuse it, right? No, by them planting that bomb, you're now in an even worse spot. Now you're in an even more fucked up scenario. Now you also need the kit as well. Now the kit costs money. Just planting the bomb costs the CTs more money to win the round now, potentially. So I do think people don't realise that the bigger impact some of these seemingly small items have. Like, I definitely agree on the diffuse kit one too. Diffuse kit's too expensive. Like, I'm sick of seeing rounds where T and CT have similar economy, but then the CTs can't get the kits. Like, that's a big difference. That's a big advantage to that T.
I mean, there's so many things that they can do to improve the game to be more like high quality. Even the Zeus is pissing me off, to be honest.
Sure.
What about if we have Zeus that has 2 charges, but he takes down 45 HP per hit? So zig, and then, 45. Like, it would be used in gun rounds too. It would be like interesting,
Am I the only one who thinks it's too powerful that it kills? I think that's crazy that it can kill.
Absolutely.
Like, think about how cheap it is. It can get, like, look, I know obviously I'm not pretending it's a super OP weapon and everyone can use it, but people like Rops who use it correctly, that is just giving a really good player a free kill. That weapon in his hands becomes overpowered.
Yeah, it's garbage. It shouldn't be like that. But it's a step for the future, something they need to think about, because right now the game, and every player will tell you the same, they don't like the state of the game right now in that sense at all. Like, forget about the tick rate and all this shit, like the fucking whatever movement and sound. This is the problem. Like, this is the actual problem. Like, nobody can get used to this MR12 with this economy. It's just not viable. And they will, I think, probably understand this very soon, and they will change it.
I've got a small hot take at the end here, but all I'll say is this. You don't have to necessarily give a take back for this take. In fact, if you're Mauisnake, be careful. Because I'm actually going to use this take to flame PGL. And here's the hot take. I think if you gave PGL $1 billion, you would get the exact same major, but Sylvie from PGL would just order a lobster with his filet mignon, not just filet mignon and the Coca-Cola. Like, I don't think any extra amount of money will ever level them up, because I've now worked with PGL myself, a bunch of majors and many, many tournaments over the years, and it's the same fucking shit from 10 years ago. Like, when I was at that PGL Stockholm major, guys, there one that had the most viewership ever, they were having tech problems for the whole first 2 weeks that I would expect if I went to some like shitter tournament in like back then in Kassad's part of the world where it wasn't top tournament, you know, it was just like EFRAG running it or something like, and these guys were running a major. I'm talking like things like you're an analyst talking into the camera and there's no one in the room to even find out if there's a problem, that you can't even signal to someone. Hey, we're not actually on camera right now. We're not on camera. No, there's no one to signal to. I'm talking about stuff like you're listening, trying to listen to Richard and the others, and there's a sound in one ear, like someone's unplugged, like slightly unplugged, like a microphone out of an amp. You know that like... That's just going on, the whole fucking time while you're trying to talk. If you don't know, fans, as an analyst, one of the worst things you can do is what you call signal jam someone, which is put sound into their headphones that's distracting while you're trying to talk. It literally, like, it short circuits your brain as your brain's trying to, like, hear yourself and make the take, etc. And the reason I bring this up is this. Guys, PGL Stockholm was like 2.5 years ago at this point in time. They've had, since then, another major. They had PGL Antwerp. But now, for this PGL major in CS2, I've already seen clips where Richard Lewis, the camera comes back to him in the studio, he's talking, his mic isn't on. You're just him there, like he's mute. I've seen a clip where he talks over a highlight package of rounds as he's like introducing the game, like, you know, and here in the game, this team did this, and suddenly his mic just goes for like 4 seconds. And I'm like, bro, this is the main fucking stream. I'm watching the main stream of the World Championship of Counter-Strike, and I'm getting a production level, like I said, I would expect if I am at a fucking tier 2 LAN in 2015 in Serbia. This is a fucking joke. Like, this is, and the reason I bring this up is this. I used to feel really sorry for the likes of PGL and Star Series, because I always used to think, I bet they don't have the same backing that like ESL does, or some E-League, some giant company that can spend all this money. But I'll tell you what, they just don't spend the money. I actually really believe at this point in time, because the problem I have is this. If you go back in time, round the time of that PGL Stockholm major, Silvio, the head guy of PGL, openly bragged that they make money running majors. Yeah, no shit! You don't spend it on the fucking major! This is outrageous to me. So as I say, if they're bragging that they're making money, guys, it's one thing in the old days where people were losing money. ESL would lose millions running a major. If you're making money, that just tells me you're not putting the money into the fucking staff. Because I've been at these tournaments, and I'm telling you right now, I have seen a number of times one person doing 2 jobs. I've even seen a guy at the PGL Stockholm major who had just worked with almost no break, fucking the international in Dota 2, came straight off and then was doing like 14 hours days or whatever on like fucking CSGO major. Like I'm talking like, this is like almost like borderline inhumane conditions. Like, what is this? And sadly, like I say, if it's true that they make money and all the money's gone up over the years, and they've now had, this isn't their first major, they've had many majors, they've had many CS tournaments. What would change? It's like the Valve thing. If you don't like Valve, one thing you should never say is if they have more money, maybe they'll do it. They've already got infinite money. They've got like essentially a money printing machine. They're just doing what they want to do. So I'm going to say the same thing about PGL. I actually think PGL production will suck like this forever because it's just their choice. They've just chosen this is acceptable. I personally don't think it's acceptable. I would, by the way, if I was at the major, I would be welding. It's why if you don't notice, there's a key angle. I'll just throw this out there as a little bit of a freebie for people who remember all broadcasts I was on. You might know sometimes I would on camera throw the desk under the fucking boss and be like, I can't hear. Like, I only do that if I've already told you a bunch of times privately, if I've already had that issue before the tournament and you're just doing it to me. Because what I decided was this: I'll take it on the chin and be a pro if it's like one off or it's just an issue or, you know, whatever, we've got to carry the segment. But if you're doing it continuously and now you're just making me look shit at my job, I'm going to make sure people know that you're shit at your job. And that's why I can't do my job. Because you've got sound in my ear, or you've got a fucking, I can't even hear his mic, or we're not even on camera right now. Like, by the way, there's a brilliant one if you're an analyst. You've got a sight gag prepared. You're just not even on camera. Brilliant. No way of knowing if you are or not. Like, so, like, it's up to you if you want to address it or not. But I just thought about it this major because I realised if they're still having problems like that now, why would it ever improve? What's going to change? What's going to change at the next one?
Nothing. I think like the biggest problem, I do agree with you. It's absolutely unacceptable that the one guy, like you said, should be doing multiple jobs. This is a major. This is not a tier 2 event in 2015 in UK, right?
Yes,
so it's
exactly.
It's just you know, terrible.
I appreciate the way Maui he did it on purpose. I thought he was doing it as a joke there. Just because I made it 2015 in Serbia, he was like, it's not like an event 2015 in the UK though. It's like, all right, okay, touche, okay.
The thing is, like, it's completely unacceptable to have this type of product problems on a major, right? If you are a first timer, then yeah, we can
Yes,
understand
agreed.
it. If you have a lack of resources,
Yes.
we can understand it. But if you don't have lack of resources, this is simply unacceptable.
Yes.
The same thing was with Blast before Paris and RMRs and the things they had in Asian RMR, if you remember, and the North American one, which was delayed, and that they delayed for one day. It was just garbage all over the place because they were saving money.
Right.
I think all of these problems when it comes to like tournaments and tiers, for example, ESL is not saving money on this. ESL is economical company. They're trying to save money, but not as much.
Yes.
Like they know where they need to put the money in to
Yes.
make their product look good. Like with the tech guys, with the producers, they have some of the best producers in the game.
For sure.
They have admins who are working day and night. The sound guys, the video guys, the fucking replay guys. Everybody's like on point there, right? Somebody's going to make a mistake. There is going to be through rotten apples here and there. But overall, they are putting the money into this product, right? And that's why they have the best organized tournament, like Kato Cologne and all these things, and IEFs, and every time they have a major. Like nobody complains about that one. Everybody were complaining about the Faceit, about the PGL, and about the Blasted
Yes.
Paris, right? Nobody was complaining, and the DreamHack. But nobody was complaining about the ESL because they know how to do it. Anyway, the thing is like what we are missing here as a community, as an esports industry, we are not unified. Like there is not a unified association of esports, a global esports, like FIFA in football, right? Like FIBA in basketball, like something that can be unified. They have like strict rules and strict industry standards they need to follow when it comes to organizing the events. And Valve should help with those, organizing, hiring proper qualified admins instead of people who are more on volunteering. Stop cutting costs on sound guys who are there for the first time. Of course, they're going to fuck it up and not put Richard's mic to be back on because they don't know.
Yes.
They're underpaid. They're fucking rookies. They're under pressure. What the fuck should we blame them?
I'll even give you another angle, Kassad, I didn't mention myself. I'll tell you the other crazy thing when I was at Stockholm is sometimes the production problems would also be because they were doing both fucking broadcasts. They were doing like another broadcast at the same time, which is like, what? And so like, that's why sometimes they wouldn't be checking hours. They'd be looking at the other one or something mad. And you'd be like, how's that possible for a major? But that's what they were doing.
Yeah, it's just like I said. When it comes to like the CSPPA and the CTOs organizers and all these like aspects outside of the game itself, it needs to be unified so we can have some industry standards that everybody will follow.
Yes.
And everybody needs to sign up, register, agree to these terms, and then suffer if they don't follow it.
Yes.
So you don't get another major, and not two in a row.
No, by the way, I would absolutely agree to that. If we had like a basic set of requirements, if you can't reach these things, then I think, I think that would be really cool. Yeah, good idea.
Fireball, I would dedicate, listen, this major was shit because of this, this, and this. How can you allow this thing to happen in 11-11? Why didn't you check the drivers? Why didn't this fix whether that's on Valve too, because they didn't fix that thing. But also, like, Silvio, you mentioned him. I haven't seen him tweet about
interesting, isn't it?
What happened.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it?
He tweeted, I think, about the stickers, and that's it. He didn't even tweet, he retweeted it. And he didn't say anything about this PC crash rating that's going on.
Yep.
I mean, you are the head guy there. Surely you say something.
Sure.
Because your company is representing this game on the highest level right now, and you are not following the industry standards. So, I mean, we saw what happened in the RMRs in the open qualifiers. It's just, what did we expect to be on the major itself? Similar thing. And I don't know what needs to change. Like I said, we need to, the CS needs to unify under one roof. That's probably not possible, but that would be the solution, right? To kind of have the first standards and the rules that everybody needs to follow if you want to organize a tier 1 event. Not everybody just running their own fucking rodeo and just fucking doing whatever the fuck they want. And simply because players want to play, they're just banking on that. And admins need work so they can work for anything. So it's just like, it's still shit 10 years later. And nobody's paying attention to it.
Just leave it at that?
I have another take.
Okay, yeah, can do one more then. Let's do one more.
Okay, this one, surely this one will get Kassad upset.
Come on,
let's go for this one. If we were to make a top 20 today for the year, I would say that despite the fact that so many times when Kassad and I have looked at Virtus Pro, we say,
"Oh, please don't make it Norbert. Please don't make it Norbert. Please, I can't do it.
That Flit's amazing. That Flit's the best rifler on the team. That he's the star player. If I were to make a top 20 today for the year, Norbert is more deserving to be on the top 20 than Flit is.
I knew where he was going with this take. Why?
He has been He has like when I actually look at when I watch these high pressure games, Norbert has been their best rifler. You could say that James the best player. He oftentimes is the best player for VP. It doesn't matter if they're against bad teams. It's generally Fame and Flit that find most of the kills and get to pump up their rating. But when it comes to top 5, top 10 teams, Norbert is an exceptionally strong player. He, in terms of actually this year already versus top 5 opponents, Flit has a pedestrian, actually it's like an EMA level 0.86 rating versus top 5 opponents. Norbert, on the other hand, has a 1.25. He is a star player versus top 5 opponents. Right. And if you want to go to a bigger sample size, even versus top 10 opponents, he still beats out Flit's rating. So Norbert has found a place as a role player extraordinaire on this VP team. I said before that he would be part of any Eastern European super team, and I still stand by that take. But now at this point, I think that in terms of big match moments, Norbert has been the best rifler for Virtus Pro.
It's a hot take.
You're a fool.
It's a hot.
I don't know. The things that you say sometimes I just don't know. But how can you even based on you watch 2-3 games of them playing in fucking and they got eliminated, by the way. So. And who did they lose to? Did you watch the game against?
They lost to NVIDIA drivers.
Where the fuck was your Norbert against NVIDIA? No, we're against fucking Imperial, right? Where was he? Nowhere. Who else did they lose to on the major as well? I mean, if you want to put him in top 20, he needs to be constantly performing. Not just on one event, not just on the 3 games that you watch. Because you're streaming and you're bored, you need to watch demos.
Why are you catching strays now? I don't like the fuck. All right. Just watch the game, Maui. Just watch the bloody game. I don't like.
You need to watch their demos and see how they play and how does he get the frags and the impact and the utility and the rotations and why did they win this round, why did they lose this round, to make that kind of assumption. For me, okay, I will agree with you that Norbert has improved tremendously. The guy is one of the best supports in the game right now.
Sure.
100%. Is he better than Flit? Absolutely fucking not. I would take Flit over Norbert anytime still. So give it 6 more months. Let's revisit this thing in 6 months and see who is right and who is wrong. I'll give you the W if this thing continues to be a trend, that he is performing on a high level in the high pressure situations and all. But that means that VP needs to qualify for the playoffs, be in the semis. Those are the true pressure situations in the arena, not in the fucking studio when you're fighting NVIDIA and JAME and all these things. You need to be winning those, be in the playoffs, perform that, and then tell me that he's better, then I will say, yeah, you win.
Pretty sweet.
This recorded, so.
I'll say something similar. I actually do also think the same thing. Here's the thing. If you just meant right this moment he's better, I can't really dispute that. I don't even know if that is actually, I mean, I guess it's a hot take in the sense people wouldn't conceive of the team that way, that he could in any context be better. But I agree with Kassad. The difference is, if you really are making it we're drafting players now and you're on still on the first round and you're taking Norbert, then I will take Flit in the assumption that in 6 months from now, Flit's better and Norbert more normalizes and comes back down to earth. I'll take that angle. I will say though, I agree. Norbert has I would never have ever imagined. The joke is, if you'd have said 1 year ago Norbert will actually be the best support, everyone would go, you are a fool, but you'd be right. In a fucked up way, you might even be right. She is way better than he has any business being.
Let me ask you this, Maui. Final question. The NAVI lineup would be better with Flit or Norbert?
Well, we're replacing EMA, so I would take Flit for EMA's role.
Okay. Rest my case. Done.
That's a roll for it's a roll for roll thing though. I don't know.
Just said it.
I know the take itself, just to quote myself, is that today, if we made a top 20 for HLTV or whatever for the year thus far, and it ended today, it's obviously only been 3 months, Norbert is more deserving than Flit today. But by the end of the year, obviously Flit could probably, it's not backpedaling because I still stand by that take. I think that Norbert is more deserving today for a 3-month stretch than Flit is to be in the top 20.
That's not a fair thing to say. That is not a fair thing to say at all. That's not even a hot take. I think that's a garbage take simply because it would be in football when the season starts, or let's say NBA. You would hear the MVP Like if the MVP was today, then fucking Embiid would be the one, and he had played like 10 games against.
Yeah, that's the take.
or
That's the
whatever.
take. It's with a limited
Like,
sample
right.
size. He's been incredible.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, great. See you in November or whatever, right? And then
Okay. Hopefully they win something by then.